The massive alien ship appeared above New York on a quiet Tuesday morning. Its smooth, silver surface reflected the sunlight like a mirror in the sky. People stopped in the streets, cars pulled over, and the whole world watched through their screens as humanity faced its first contact with alien life. General James Miller stood in the United Nations emergency meeting room, his weathered hands gripping the back of his chair. Around him, world leaders and military commanders from every nation waited as the alien transmission was decoded. "We are the Galactic Alliance," the translated message read across screens. "We come in peace." The Alliance representatives who landed looked almost human, except for their thin, tall bodies and large eyes. They moved carefully, as if every step took great effort. Later, humans would learn why. Earth's gravity was nearly twice what they were used to. "Impossible," the lead alien, Ambassador Trell, said when examining Earth's environmental data. "No advanced species could evolve in these conditions." He waved his long fingers at the holographic display showing Earth's statistics. "Your gravity alone should have prevented intelligent life. And the atmospheric pressure, the number of active predator species." "This is our home," Miller replied simply. "We've lived here since the beginning." The Alliance classified planets on a scale of 1 to 12, based on how hostile they were to life. Earth was immediately labeled a Class 12 Deathworld, the highest possible rating. The aliens couldn't believe humans had built civilizations on a planet with active volcanoes, regular natural disasters, and countless deadly creatures. Things got worse when the Alliance delegation visited a military base. They watched in horror as human soldiers ran 5 miles carrying heavy packs, practiced hand-to-hand combat, and demonstrated their weapons. "Your species is far too violent," Ambassador Trell declared during the third day of meetings. "We cannot allow a Deathworld species to maintain military forces. They must be dismantled immediately." The UN Security Council met in an emergency session. Russian President Volkov spoke first. "They expect us to give up our ability to defend ourselves, after they just learned we exist. The Chinese People's Republic will not surrender its sovereignty," the Chinese representative stated firmly. One by one, every nation rejected the Alliance's demand. Even traditional enemies found themselves in agreement. Earth would not disarm. Ambassador Trell's face showed what humans would learn was the Alliance equivalent of disgust. "You don't understand. Your species evolved on a planet that should have killed you. Your bodies are dense with muscle and bone that could crush most sentient species. Your endurance, your ability to survive injury, your aggressive instincts, you are too dangerous to be allowed military organization." "We have fought wars," General Miller admitted, "but we've also built peace. Our militaries now serve to protect, to help during disasters, to keep peace." "Unacceptable," Trell replied. "The Alliance has brought peace to 1,000 worlds. We will not allow a species of natural-born warriors to threaten that peace." The meeting ended in failure. As the Alliance representatives returned to their ship, Miller watched them struggling to walk under Earth's gravity. He understood then. They feared humans not because they were evil, but because humans were strong in ways the aliens couldn't imagine. That night, as military forces around the world went on high alert, Miller sat in his office reading reports about Alliance technology. Their ships were impressive, their weapons advanced, but their bodies were weak. They came from gentle worlds with weak gravity and few threats. "They don't understand us," he said to the other generals on the video call. "They think because we're strong, we must be violent. Because we can fight, we must want war." "Then they'll learn," the Indian general replied. "That strength can protect as well as harm." As the Alliance ship departed Earth's orbit, carrying humanity's unanimous rejection of their demands, Miller hoped they would understand before it was too late. But as he watched his soldiers continuing their training below his office window, he knew Earth would be ready either way. The first contact had failed, but humanity had survived far worse than disappointed aliens. After all, they were children of Earth, the deadliest cradle of life, the galaxy had ever seen. 3 weeks after the failed negotiations, the Alliance attack began. Their warships appeared over every major military base on Earth, their silver hulls darkening the sky. The Alliance military commander, Admiral Krex, stood on his bridge smiling at the primitive planet below. "These humans will learn their place quickly," he told his officers. "Their weapons are centuries behind ours. Begin the peacekeeping operation." The first wave of Alliance troops landed in transport ships across the globe. They wore powered armor suits to help them move in Earth's crushing gravity. Their weapons were designed to stun and disable. They planned to take Earth without bloodshed. They weren't ready for what happened next. At Fort Bradley in Texas, Alliance forces found themselves facing the U.S. Army's 1st Infantry Division. The aliens' energy weapons flashed brilliantly, but human soldiers kept charging through shots that should have knocked them down. The Alliance troops, struggling to move in Earth's gravity even with their power armor, watched in horror as humans ran at full speed carrying heavy weapons. "How are they still standing?" An Alliance sergeant screamed over the radio. "These stunning levels would drop any normal species." The answer came in the form of a human sergeant who crashed through their line, his body armor absorbing their energy blasts. He moved faster than their targeting systems could track, trained on a world with nearly twice the gravity they evolved in. Before they could adjust their weapons, he had disabled 3 of their soldiers with his bare hands. Similar scenes played out worldwide. In Siberia, Russian troops didn't even need vehicles to outmaneuver the Alliance forces struggling through the snow. The aliens' environmental suits, designed for the cold of space, couldn't handle the combination of Earth's atmospheric pressure and extreme weather. In the Australian outback, Alliance troops found their advanced sensors blinded by dust and heat. Their commanders had dismissed Earth's environment as primitive, but now watched their expensive equipment fail while human soldiers moved through the harsh conditions without difficulty. "Impossible," Admiral Krex muttered, watching the battle reports flood in. "Their bodies should be breaking under their own weight in combat situations. Their muscles shouldn't be able to generate that much force." But human bodies, evolved over millions of years on their Deathworld, were capable of far more than the Alliance had believed possible. Every human soldier carried more weight in equipment than most Alliance species could lift on their home worlds. They could run for hours, fight hand-to-hand, and survive injuries that would kill most galactic citizens. "Sir," an Alliance officer reported, "the humans are boarding our support vessels." Krex watched in disbelief as human special forces, using nothing more advanced than magnetic grapples and simple spacesuits, crawled across the hulls of Alliance ships. Their bodies, already adapted to crushing gravity, worked perfectly in 0G. They moved faster, hit harder, and thought quicker than the Alliance crews. Within hours, 3 Alliance ships had been captured intact. Human engineers were already learning their systems, adapting their own tactics to the new technology. They had expected a primitive species learning about spaceflight. Instead, they found natural warriors who took to space combat like they were born to it. "Full retreat," Krex finally ordered, watching another ship fall to human borders. "We severely underestimated them." As Alliance forces pulled back from Earth, they left behind broken equipment, captured soldiers, and a terrible realization. Humans weren't just strong, they were smart. Every failure became a learning opportunity. Every captured piece of technology was quickly understood and improved. In orbit, General Miller stood on the bridge of a captured Alliance vessel, looking down at Earth. Next to him, a young engineer was already figuring out how to improve the ship's systems. "They thought our planet's harshness was a weakness," Miller said. "They didn't understand that pressure creates diamonds." The Alliance had made a terrible mistake. They had dismissed humans as primitive because they came from a deadly world. Now they would learn that Earth's harsh conditions hadn't limited humanity. They had forged humanity into something the galaxy wasn't ready to face. The real war was about to begin. The world leaders gathered in the underground bunker beneath Geneva had never agreed on anything before. Now, watching footage of Alliance ships retreating from Earth's orbit, they found themselves united by a common truth. Humanity needed to work together to survive. The Alliance will return. General Miller addressed the emergency summit. They'll bring more ships, better weapons. We need to be ready. The Russian general, Ivan Petrov, stepped forward. In Siberia, we forced them to retreat using just our winter warfare units. Their technology failed in our cold. Imagine what we could teach others about fighting in extreme conditions. For the first time in history, military leaders from around the world began sharing their most guarded secrets. The Brazilian colonel taught Arctic troops how to fight in dense jungles. British Royal Marines showed desert warfare units how to operate at sea. Each nation's strengths became humanity's strength. In the Himalayas, Alliance prisoners watched in disbelief as human soldiers carried heavy packs up mountains in thin air. Your body should shut down at this altitude, one alien scientist said, monitoring their vital signs. How are you still functioning? We've climbed these peaks for generations, the mountain warfare instructor replied. Now we're teaching others. Every environment on Earth that tried to kill us just made us stronger. At a training base in Australia's outback, American Marines learned from Aboriginal guides how to survive in the scorching heat. The Alliance had called Earth a Deathworld, but humans had mastered every deadly corner of it. The most surprising partnership formed between Israeli and Iranian special forces, longtime enemies now working together. They combined their desert warfare expertise, teaching others how to fight in the harshest conditions Earth offered. Look at this, General Miller said to the United Earth Defense Council, showing footage of multinational training exercises. Indian troops teaching the French about jungle combat. Chinese soldiers learning Arctic warfare from Canadians. We're finally using Earth's harshness to our advantage. The Alliance's next scout ship found something very different from the divided planet they'd left behind. Human soldiers had learned to use captured Alliance technology while keeping their original skills. They could fight in space using advanced weapons, then switch to hand-to-hand combat that left Alliance troops helpless. In Norway's frozen fjords, Alliance surveillance drones watched human special forces practicing underwater operations in frigid seas. Their bodies, already adapted to Earth's crushing pressure, made them natural deep-sea fighters. The Alliance had never considered underwater combat. Most of their species could barely swim. They're turning their whole planet into a training ground. Admiral Krex reported to Alliance High Command. Every environment we thought would limit them, they're using to become stronger. The transformation was most visible at the new Global Military Academy in New Zealand. Here, soldiers from every nation trained together, combining Earth's countless combat styles with Alliance technology. They learned to pilot captured ships, use alien weapons, and still maintain the physical abilities that made humans unique in the galaxy. The Alliance thought our divisions made us weak, Miller told a class of international cadets. They didn't realize that Earth's challenges had prepared us for this moment. Every war, every struggle for survival, taught us something we needed. In orbit, the captured Alliance ships had been modified by human engineers. They kept the advanced technology, but adjusted it for human strength and endurance. Systems designed for beings from low-gravity worlds were rebuilt to take advantage of human power. The Alliance had wanted to demilitarize Earth. Instead, they have forced humanity to create the most effective fighting force the galaxy had ever seen. Every nation's military traditions, combined with captured alien technology and powered by human physical capabilities, created something entirely new. As the first joint Earth fleet prepared for launch, Miller stood watching troops from 40 nations board together. They moved with the confidence of warriors born on a world that should have killed them, armed with technology from the stars. Earth was ready. The real question was the galaxy ready for Earth? The Alliance patrol ship never saw the attack coming. 6 human soldiers, wearing modified spacesuits, drifted silently through space, using only momentum and small gas bursts. Their suits, painted black to match the void, were nearly invisible against the starfield. Impossible. The Alliance captain muttered when they finally appeared on sensors. No species can survive extended EVA operations without powered armor. But humans, used to carrying their own weight under crushing gravity, moved through zero-G like they were born to it. Before the Alliance crew could react, the boarding team had cut through the airlock using simple thermal charges. "They're inside," an Alliance officer screamed. "How are they moving so fast without power assists?" The answer came in the form of 6 humans charging down the corridor. Their muscles, evolved to work under Earth's brutal gravity, making them faster and stronger than any Alliance soldier in space. The ship was captured in less than 10 minutes. This was humanity's first major counteroffensive against the Alliance. Similar scenes played out across 3 sectors of space as Earth's new combined fleet launched its carefully planned attack. On the Alliance space station, Unity 7, alarms blared as human forces breached multiple airlocks simultaneously. The station's commander watched in horror as his troops, even with powered armor, failed to stop the Earth soldiers. "Their endurance is unnatural," he reported desperately to Alliance Command. "They just keep coming. Our stun weapons barely slow them down. They're not even using powered suits, they're fighting in basic armor." The station fell within an hour. Human engineers immediately began studying its systems, improving them, adapting them for Earth's forces. What the Alliance had built for comfort, humans rebuilt for war. General Miller stood on the captured station's command deck, watching Earth forces secure their victory. "Send the message," he ordered. Across Alliance communication channels, videos began playing. They showed human soldiers performing what the Alliance had thought impossible, fighting in space without power assists, surviving in environments that should have killed them, moving with speed and strength that seemed unnatural to species from gentler worlds. "This is just the beginning," Miller's message concluded. "You called Earth a death world. You were right. Now you'll learn what that means." The Alliance's response was predictable. They sent their main battle fleet, but they found humans had learned their weaknesses. Alliance ships, designed for comfort, were vulnerable to simple boarding actions. Their crews, unused to physical combat, couldn't stop humans in hand-to-hand fighting. "They're using our own ships against us," Admiral Krex reported in panic. "But they've modified them. Removed all the comfort systems, stripped them down, made them more efficient. They're turning our technology into weapons we never imagined." The biggest shock came when humans demonstrated their ability to fight in environments the Alliance had considered completely hostile. Using their experience in Earth's oceans, human forces attacked Alliance underwater mining facilities. Trained in Earth's deserts and Arctic, they struck Alliance bases on worlds the Alliance had thought too extreme for combat. "How do we fight an enemy who treats deadly environments as a training ground?" an Alliance commander asked after losing another station. The answer was, they couldn't. Every Alliance advantage was turned against them. Their advanced technology, designed for ease of use, was simplified and weaponized by humans. Their environmental suits, made for comfort, were outperformed by humans adapted to harsh conditions. Back on Unity 7, now renamed Humanity's First, Miller reviewed the battle reports. In 3 days of fighting, Earth forces had captured 20 ships, 3 stations, and established humanity's first off-world bases. The Alliance thought they were being kind, he told his staff, trying to save us from our harsh world. They never understood that Earth's harshness was our greatest teacher. As more reports of human victories came in, even Miller was surprised by how effectively Earth's forces worked together. Russians and Americans, Chinese and Japanese, old enemies now fought side by side. All of them children of Earth, all of them stronger than the Alliance could have imagined. The galaxy was learning a hard lesson. Don't underestimate species from Deathworlds. They tend to bite back. Word spread through the galaxy like wildfire. Stories of human victories reached every corner of Alliance space, carried by merchant ships and civilian broadcasts. At first, most species thought they were just stories. No one could believe the truth. "Watch this," an alien trader said, showing forbidden footage in a crowded bar on the edge of Alliance space. The video showed human soldiers climbing up the side of an Alliance cruiser without powered suits, using only their natural strength. "That's not possible," someone shouted. But more videos appeared. Humans fighting in environments that should kill them, surviving conditions that would break most species, moving with speed and power that seemed impossible. "I saw them take a station," a refugee from the front line said. 6 humans against 40 Alliance troops in power armor. The humans won in less than 10 minutes. They moved so fast our targeting systems couldn't track them. On thousands of worlds, people watched in amazement as humans demonstrated what a Deathworld species could do. They lifted weights that would crush most aliens. They ran for hours without stopping. They fought in toxic atmospheres, burning deserts, and frozen wastelands. "Look at their training," a military analyst said, showing footage from Earth. "They practice combat in environments that would kill most species. Their basic training would be considered extreme survival testing for us." The Alliance tried to control the story. They called humans savage and dangerous. But their propaganda backfired when people saw humans helping defeated enemies, treating prisoners well, and showing mercy even in victory. "They're not monsters," an Alliance deserter told reporters. "They're just strong. Stronger than anyone thought possible. I watched a human medic carry 3 wounded allies through a firefight, without powered armor. In toxic atmosphere, they don't just survive their Deathworld. They master it." More species began questioning the Alliance's wisdom. They attacked the humans for being strong, a political leader said in a secret meeting. "But strength doesn't equal evil. Look how the humans unite to defend each other, how they work together despite their differences." The biggest shock came when humans began teaching other species. On captured stations and bases, human instructors showed Alliance prisoners how to fight without relying on technology, how to use their natural strength, no matter how little they had. "The humans don't look down on us for being weaker," an Alliance soldier wrote in a secret message home. "They show us how to work with what we have. Their bodies might be stronger, but they teach us that spirit matters more than strength." General Wilson stood on the bridge of Earth's newest captured ship, watching videos from across the galaxy. Humans had become legends in just a few months. Some called them demons, others called them heroes. "They still don't understand," he told his staff. "They think we're powerful because we're from a Deathworld. But we're powerful because our world taught us to never give up, to adapt, to work together despite our differences." The Alliance's biggest fear came true. Other species began standing up to them. Inspired by human example, worlds that had been quiet for centuries found their courage. They might not have human strength, but they learned human determination. "Look at what's happening," Wilson said, showing reports from across Alliance space. "Every species they called weak is finding its strength. Every world they dismissed is discovering its power." Humans became known as the Deathworlders across the galaxy. But it wasn't just their physical power that made them legends. It was how they used that power, not to conquer, but to defend. Not to destroy, but to protect. "We've spent centuries being afraid of stronger species," an alien child asked its parent, watching humans help rebuild a damaged station. "Why aren't the humans conquering us like the Alliance said they would?" The answer was simple, though few in the Alliance could understand it. Earth hadn't just made humans strong. It had taught them the responsibility that comes with strength. The galaxy was changing. And at last, it was changing for the better. The Alliance High Council met in emergency session, their luxurious meeting hall no longer feeling as safe as it once did. Reports from across their territory showed a government losing control. Screens around the room displayed scenes of chaos. "Another fleet has surrendered to the humans," Admiral Krex reported, his voice shaking. "Our own ships are turning against us. The crews say they won't fight anymore." On screen after screen, the story was the same. Alliance military units were refusing orders. Some joined the humans. Others simply went home. The mighty Alliance military, undefeated for 1,000 years, was falling apart. How did this happen? The High Council leader demanded. We have better technology, more ships, bigger weapons. The answer came from their own troops. The humans don't need better weapons, an Alliance commander said in a leaked message. Their bodies are their weapons, but they don't use that strength to bully us. They use it to protect. Across Alliance space, revolution sparked. Species that had been considered too weak to govern themselves stood up. They had watched humans, creatures from a world that should have killed them, stand up to the Alliance and win. If the Deathworlders can beat them, a rebel leader announced, then so can we. They've shown us that strength isn't about technology. It's about will. The Alliance tried one last desperate attack. They sent their largest fleet to strike Earth directly. 300 ships, the pride of their navy, jumped into Earth's solar system. They found 2,000 ships waiting for them. Some were Earth vessels. Others were former Alliance ships now fighting for freedom. The humans had built a coalition of species tired of being called weak. Surrender. General Wilson's message was simple. Your time of ruling through fear is over. The Alliance fleet commander looked at his crew. They were tired. Tired of fighting. Tired of losing. Tired of being afraid. One by one, Alliance ships began powering down their weapons. We won't die for leaders who lied to us, the fleet commander announced. Who told us humans were monsters when we were the ones attacking their home. Back in the High Council chamber, the screens showed more defections, more surrenders, more species declaring independence. The Alliance wasn't just losing a war, it was losing its reason to exist. Don't you see what they've done? A young council member stood up. The humans didn't beat us with strength alone. They beat us by showing everyone that being different doesn't mean being wrong. Wilson stood on the bridge of his flagship, watching the Alliance fleet surrender. Around him, his crew included humans from every nation on Earth, working alongside aliens who had once been their enemies. The Alliance thought Earth made us dangerous, he told them. They never understood that Earth made us survivors, and survivors know the value of working together. The High Council's power broke. Without their military, without the fear they had used to rule, they had nothing left. Species that had been part of the Alliance for centuries demanded freedom. Let them go, Wilson advised when some wanted revenge. We're not here to build a new empire. We're here to build something better. Across the galaxy, worlds celebrated, not just because the Alliance had fallen, but because something new was rising. Something that didn't divide species into strong and weak, didn't label worlds as safe or deadly. The Alliance had called Earth a Deathworld, thinking it would frighten people. Instead, it had become a symbol of hope. If humans could survive and thrive on such a world, then any species could overcome their limitations. The war was ending, not with Earth's destruction as the Alliance had planned, but with freedom spreading across the stars. And it had all started because some aliens had looked at Earth and seen only danger when they should have seen strength. The galaxy would never be the same. And that was exactly what it needed. 1 year after the Alliance's surrender, the galaxy looked very different. Where the Alliance had built palaces to show their power, a new galactic council building stood on Earth. Its design was simple but strong, like the planet that hosted it. General Wilson, now Ambassador Wilson, watched representatives from 100 worlds enter the council chamber. Some walked on 2 legs, others crawled or floated. Species that the Alliance had called too weak now sat beside humans from Earth. Who would have thought? He said to his alien assistant, a former Alliance officer, that a war would bring so much peace. The biggest change wasn't in politics, but in how species saw each other. The Alliance had divided worlds into categories: safe worlds, dangerous worlds, and death worlds. Now, every world was seen as unique, with its own challenges and strengths. On Earth, the first galactic military academy had opened its doors. Here, humans taught other species how to be strong in their own ways. Not everyone could match human strength, but everyone could learn human determination. "Watch this," an instructor said, showing new students a training exercise. A human and a low-gravity alien worked together, each using their natural abilities. The human provided strength. The alien provided agility. Together, they were stronger than either alone. Earth's harsh environment, once seen as a curse, became a training ground. Species from across the galaxy sent their best to learn how to survive in Earth's gravity, to adapt to its challenges, to become stronger than they thought possible. "Your world doesn't have to be a death world to make you strong," Wilson told a group of cadets. "Every world has its challenges. Those challenges can make you better if you let them." The old Alliance technology didn't go to waste. Human engineers worked with alien scientists, combining Alliance comfort with Earth practicality. They built ships that were both powerful and comfortable, stations that were both strong and welcoming. "Look at what we've achieved together," Wilson said at the first anniversary of the new council. The Alliance thought different meant dangerous. They never understood that different means strong, if we work together. Across the galaxy, worlds that had lived in fear began to flourish. Species that had been told they were too weak to defend themselves built their own forces, trained by humans, but using their own natural abilities. The biggest surprise came from the former Alliance worlds. Free from their old leaders' fear, they discovered their own strength. Many of their soldiers joined the new Galactic Defense Force, working alongside the humans they had once feared. "You showed us a better way," a former Alliance commander told Wilson. "We thought strength meant making others weak. You taught us it means helping others become strong." Earth changed too. Human nations, united by the alien threat, stayed united by choice. They had learned that their differences made them stronger, not weaker. Russian cold weather tactics, Australian desert survival skills, Brazilian jungle warfare, all became part of humanity's gift to the galaxy. In orbit around Earth, ships from 100 worlds docked at the new galactic station. Some carried traders, others carried students coming to learn at Earth's academies. All of them came to the planet the Alliance had called too dangerous for civilization. "They called us Deathworlders," Wilson said at the final ceremony, watching ships land and take off. "They meant it as an insult. We turned it into a promise to help others find their strength, to build a galaxy where different doesn't mean dangerous." The galaxy had changed forever. The Alliance's fear of Earth's strength had led them to attack. But Earth's real strength wasn't in its gravity or its harsh conditions. It was in teaching others that every world, every species, had strength of its own. A new age had begun. And it started because some humans refused to be ashamed of their world, refused to give up their strength, and refused to let fear rule the galaxy. The Deathworlders had brought life to the stars.